Hi, it's Jared from Strongrootsfarmoh. Welcome back to the farm. We are going to do episode 1 of the Great Ohio Homestead. So we had our opening, our intro. Today we're going to start from the beginning. You're building a homestead, you gotta find some land. So today I'm going to take you through that. What are the best ways to find the right piece of property? Now there's no secret here. There's no underground government hidden program where you can get free land. Land is going to cost you money. The homestead is going to cost you money. It's a piece of real estate. But I'm going to show you the right ways to do it to find the perfect piece of land for you and your family to start your great homestead on. Stick around, I'll take you through them all. Let's jump right in. The very first one is the MLS. And so the MLS stands for the Multiple Listing Services. I even had to write it down here. What this is agents listing properties. Your standard listings of properties. The issue is that the MLS is the area or nationwide listing service. So every agent has to list within the service if they're following the rules. Some people hide listings, back pocket listings, sometimes they're called within this organization or group of agents around your area, but everybody is supposed to list their listing. So if a home is listed and available for sale, a piece of land is listed and available for sale, it should show up on the MLS. The problem with this is that not every agency, their websites, show the entire MLS. Some agencies only show their listed properties within their agency. So every area has a different agency. Here in the Cincinnati area, I use the Sibcy Klein website. Looks like this. It shows everything within the MLS, no matter who has listed it or what group they came from. Their hope is that you choose a Sibcy Klein rep, and if you're buying a home from another agency, they're still getting half of that commission, but their website shows everything in this area. Depending on what area of the country you're in, you're gonna find perhaps a different website that would show that area. I know Northern Kentucky, Southern Indiana, all around here where we're at in Southern Ohio, Sibcy Klein is very good. So find the right agency website. Doesn't matter where your agent works, doesn't matter if you even have an agent, but the MLS will show you listings. You can then sort them out by land size, area, school district, county, whatever you would choose to find the listed properties that you can search for your next homestead. Number 2 is through an agent, of course. And so every area has agents. Depending on where you're at in the country, they're based out of different ways. I will tell you that there is a difference between a city agent, does commercial properties, does apartments and condos and those types of things, and a rural agent, people who understand land, understand property values, understand land, real estate. Even way out here in the country where we live, where we're building our homestead, there are real estate agents that typically just do homes, neighborhoods, communities, and then there are agents who specialize in land, whether that be recreational properties, hunting properties, or farming and homestead properties. Now, every agent, as far as I know, is able to sell whatever they want to sell. You can have a city agent that's never even been to this rural county come out, bring a couple out, and buy a piece of property out here, and he can facilitate that process. But you want to try to find an agent that works in the area where your homestead is going to be and understands the costs and the taxes and the rules, because things are different here in the country. So you want to check into that kind of stuff. Don't get burnt by having an agent that doesn't work in the area. If you're here in Brown County where we live, I only recommend one. Chris Shepard's my man. So this guy has helped me for free multiple times, mainly because I'm asking questions. If I list a home, I'm going to list it with Chris. He's honest, and I'm biased because he buys meat from us. He's one of my customers here on my farm, and so we list with Chris. If I was to buy a piece of property, I would start with Chris, and he's an honest enough guy that if he said, this guy is going to know more about the property, he would let me talk to somebody else. But he is the guy that I would use, And finding an agent like that is honest, that you trust, that will talk you out of a piece of property if it's not the right one for you, that guy's gold. Chris is gold. You have some sub-listing websites, this FSBO, for sale by owner, okay? And so they'll have MLS sites, MLS listings on these sites as well, but for sale by owner sites, MLS and agents aren't necessarily gonna know about these because these are people trying to sell their property that don't wanna give 7% to an agent that just walks you around for 30 minutes and does some paperwork. Now that's not all an agent does, but that's how some people see it. And so they want to list for sale by owner to get as much money as they can for their property and save as much as they can. And they're going to list on sites like Facebook and Facebook groups. Could be one way in social media. But the two most popular ones here in our area are homes.com and Zillow.com. So I'm sure you're familiar with both of these. You saw both of these websites really quick there. You can go on those websites. What I like about Zillow, that's the one I use the most, is that you can put in a map. You can draw a circle and it will show you with little icons everything that is within your parameters of your search in that section. I use Zillow all the time. Zillow has a Zestimate though, which is like the Zillow estimate, and I don't find that to be very accurate. So I would not use that to make your offer on a piece of property. But it may help you find a piece of property. If you don't have an agent, if you're looking out of state, this is something good to use. Now that's 1, 2, and 3, and those are pretty common. Everybody kind of knows about those for the most part, but that's where I would start. That's the best way to find something that is currently listed available. You have some experts to show you those pieces of property. If you find a good agent, they can show you the pros and the cons and talk you through it. And then outside of that, you're kind of going on your own outside of the traditional scope. One thing I will say about an agent, if you get a good agent who is well known, who talks to other agents, these hip pocket listings that some people call them, they're gonna know about these. They're gonna know about a piece of land that a lady may be wanting to part with part of it. Her husband died, he has 100 acres, she doesn't wanna take care of it, and she doesn't wanna move out of her house, but she may be willing to sell 20, 30, 40 acres to help pay for her last few years in retirement and things like that. And good agent is gonna know about stuff like that. But if you don't have that agent, how could you search and find that? Well, something I have used is the GIS, wrote it down again. It's the Geographic Info System. Don't know why they call it that, but basically here in our county, it looks like this. Every county nationwide has the GIS. The GIS allows you to zoom into an area and see property lines and see who owns that property. Doesn't tell you it's for sale, doesn't tell you how old the person is, sometimes doesn't even get you to the right place to get a contact info, but it will tell you who owns the piece of property. And then from there, you have to go to a local auditor site, put in that person's name, find the property that you were looking at, and call that person. They might have an email, they might have just an address where the person lives if they don't live on that piece of property. And then you're either knocking on doors, trying to make phone calls, asking, would you be interested in selling? Would you be interested in lotting off a piece of property? Where I have found this successful, and I've done this and it works, I have found this successful for people who own multiple pieces of property. There are people who invest in real estate. Got a dentist in town or a doctor in town or a lawyer in town. It seems like those people will have some money and they just buy up property. This guy doesn't even live on any of this property. He just lets it get farmed. He lives in town in the subdivision and he's got 20 pieces of property. What I do is I go on, if it's the property I want, that's the piece of land I want, and I see that he owns it, I'm gonna go see what he paid for it and how many years ago he paid for it that much. And I'm gonna figure out what it's worth today and see if he would be willing to sell. People like this use these as tax write-offs, they use these as investments, and if you're giving him a good return on investment in your offer, they are typically willing to negotiate. The problem with doing it this way is You don't have any chips left because he knows you want it. He wasn't trying to sell it. He didn't have it listed. And here you are begging him to sell it. So you're going to probably pay top dollar for this piece of property. But if it's the perfect piece of property, it may be worth it. He gets to move his money to another investment. Maybe land prices are down, whatever it would be. Maybe he needs to add on to his doctor's office and he was thinking about, what do I do? And you just talk to him at the right point in time. You may get lucky like that. This has an avenue of luck to it, but this is one way to find land, find out who owns this land, see if it has unpaid back taxes, because maybe they're not affording it so well in some cases, or see if they own a lot of land and they may be willing to part with one. I've done this multiple times. It does work, but it takes work and it takes a little bit of luck. The fifth way, and we've kind of already mentioned it a little bit, I've put down social media. And so social media has really changed real estate in the last decade or so with all of the Facebook groups and Twitters and all this stuff. I don't even have any of that except for Facebook. But I find land for sale on there from time to time. I've even found homes for rent on there. And so when I see a piece of property that has some land and it's a rental property and a guy is down to the point where he's listing it on Facebook, he's pretty much putting it out there. I don't care, I just need a renter, right? And so he's renting it. You could turn that. You could find a rental property and ask him, not only would he rent you the house, but would he rent you a few acres around the house? So it's $1,000 a month for this little 3-bedroom, but you want to have the 3-bedroom and that the lot it's on and a couple more acres that are around it maybe, and he still gets to keep the majority of the land. You could rent to start your homestead this way. This is one good way to start out. Also, if he's renting and you talk to him and he's elderly and he's tired of renters, there's a good chance you could say, hey, you've got a rental property. Are you interested in buying another one and selling this one? Are you interested in moving your money around? Are you tired of dealing with renters? I've had this happen before. It does work. People get tired of being landlords sometimes, especially out in the country. It happens more than it does in a city setting. City settings have more people that want to rent and that do a good job taking care of rental properties. In the country, it's a little less. Now, when you're buying a rental property, it's had renters in it. And renters don't sometimes in the country care about the place as much if this is their own. So make sure you get a home inspection, make sure you double check these things, ask about the property, have somebody come in and inspect and do all the things. You know, it takes some work. You're not going to get a cheap deal on something like this, usually, unless the guy's desperate to get out of renting. But there's some risk involved with this. But if it's the perfect piece of property for your homestead, it may be a good avenue for you. And the last one is simply just talking to people. And so here's what I would do. If you can't, you know you want to be in a certain geographical region, certain county, whatever it would be, town, and you know that's where you want to be, but you can't find land. I would rent in that area and I would build relationships and I would start talking, because you can rent a little house in town or wherever, and then you can rent a little bit of land and get your homestead started. You can do it this way. It's maybe not the dream. You may feel like it's a step in the wrong direction, but you could get started. One, it gives you some practice to see what you like and what you don't like. It also gives you some experience on a much smaller scale with less investment, because you're renting. You don't have to have a mortgage and all these hundreds of thousands of dollars out in the beginning for a big building project. So renting a small piece of land would give you very good experience if you're a beginner in this. So you rent a little home, you start building relationships, you start meeting real estate agents, letting them know who you are, letting them know what you're looking for and you haven't been able to find so far. And they put that mental note in their head. They take your name, number, and the next thing you know, before a property is listed, you're getting a call that they have a person that's ready to sell. They want to move quick. They haven't listed it yet, but they're ready to list, and they think it fits what you're looking for. Those lines line up, and they list it, and the very next day, they accept your offer. That happens all the time, more than you would think here in the country. So meet people, talk to people, go to church, talk to people. You'll also find people, by communicating like this, that would be willing. They like you enough, they would be willing to sell you 5, 10, 20 acres off of their big land mass. They're looking for somebody young to help take over their farmland or their area and help around and have somebody else around as they retire perhaps. I've seen this happen time and time again. So get to know people in the community where you want to be, and renting is a good way to do that. Well, there you have it. Now in the beginning of the video, I kind of made an off-color comment about secretive, underground government programs and things. There are things like this out there. There are unclaimed properties. Not very many where I live, if any at all. There are things like this that you can find in certain states. I'm leery of stuff like this, but it's worth looking into, and it's very different than here in Ohio. You won't find that here in Ohio. You won't find a piece of unclaimed property that's just sitting there for you to take on pennies on the dollar and just buy it up. But if you're in a state where some of this land happens, one, comment down below, let me know where that's at. But two, it's worth checking into. But like me, I hope you're a little skeptical, because land costs money and people own land and they want to sell their land, so just not paying it, that's pretty rare. Even if it's a good piece of property. Like, you might find a piece of old toxic waste dump, but there's a reason that somebody hasn't taken care of it or owned it. So make sure you're checking into those and just being skeptical. I don't want to be too negative here on that. But there are programs like that. But for the most part, what I laid out for you today is the best way you're going to find land. Finding land, the perfect piece of property for your homestead at a steal of a price, is very rare. The best way that that happens is through knowing somebody that knows somebody, and you just get lucky. That's the only way I've ever really seen that happen. But finding the right piece of property for your homestead that is reasonable happens every day. And there are multiple ways that we went through here that you can do it. Stay positive. It takes time. You can do it. Do not settle. Have an inspector inspect. Know what you want. Your piece of property is out there. Just take a breath. Wait for it. It will come. Pray about it. If that's your thing, that's how we manage property and how we find homesteads. And that's how we found this piece of land that you're going to watch us build this homestead on. So I hope that helps. Appreciate you watching. Stick around. This is episode 1. We got a lot more to come. Subscribe. Come along with us. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you have another way to find land than what I mentioned here. Put it down in the comments. We appreciate you watching. Until next time, have a good one.